Hello and welcome to Brother Earth Healing. I've already gotten a lot of messages coming through as I was just sitting before the recording, so I'm gonna get started a little bit more quickly today. Yeah, very warm welcome. This is our third video for YouTube for our little channel here. We're going to be working with earth signs, earth energy, and like I've been stating before, we all have, all of these energies within and around us, all of the elements, and all of these people in our lives too. So by tuning into all the episodes, you get a little bit of a, another piece of the puzzle sort of thing. And just kind of gain some clarity and awareness of what's going on in a broad way. Just wanted to let you guys know that I will be offering 4 videos in the beginning of the month and then 4 videos at the end of the month. So one video will be, for each sign. Tuesdays will be releasing the air video, air signs, and then Wednesday will be for water signs, Thursday will be for earth signs, and then Friday for fire signs. So it's a little bit of the schedule there. And I just feel like getting started. Like I said, I had a lot come through already. So I'm gonna just kind of feel in again. I've been starting with taking a couple breaths with you guys, just getting settled, settling ourselves, settling the mind, kind of resting. I'm gonna offer a little bit of space, a little bit of energy for you guys, and just take a few breaths. Good. Doesn't that feel better? Just a few breaths makes everything so much softer, so much easier. One of the things that was coming through really strongly was this recognition of, I think it's more of a question. Wanting to ask the question, like, where do you go for refuge? What is your refuge? Do you have a place you go for refuge within yourself, outside of yourself? High Priestess coming out. I've been not so great with how I've been putting the cards up, so hopefully I'm practicing a little bit, so hopefully you can see that a little bit better. I think I was putting it a little bit too close earlier. So I actually do have a lot of Earth in my chart. I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart. Although my sun sign is Scorpio, so I'm a Scorpio sun and Leo moon. This is feeling very earthy to me, though. This High Priestess really coming to me. Do you see? Do you see? More questions. I'm feeling this really inviting energy from the earth, from our earth, Mother Earth. I'm feeling like this really inviting to come back for refuge. I was seeing just a lot of green places, a lot of kind of forested jungle kind of looking places when I was sitting just now. And some people in them, and a lot of empty spaces waiting to be kind of explored and recognized. It's funny, the first deck that I just kind of gravitated towards, I just grabbed, was just without thinking about it, was my Herbal Tarot deck, which is just really beautiful deck. And the second card here, the Tower. garlic. Yeah, I was feeling also like a lot of loss. I was feeling a lot of loss. I was just thinking, just came up also while I was sitting, like a friend who just like lost her mother. Or I'll rephrase that, whose mother passed on, transformed onto another journey. Things aren't as they seem on the surface, on the outside. Yeah, a lot of reasons to celebrate as well, to come together, to create a sense of harmony from these situations. I feel like the quality of the earth is like, one really beautiful quality of our earth is like the ability it has to transform the kind of mud or the yucky kind of stuff, the compost, and turn it into, flowers and food, and it's just this really beautiful ability that the earth has to transform. And I think that that's another invitation I'm feeling is really to tap into that quality. I'm getting that in a very specific way for people who have a lot of earth in their chart and really resonate with that, and resonate with the earth in a general way. I feel like there's a lot of feelings of, like definitely like on a mission. I'm getting a lot of messages coming through in all of the readings I've done so far that have been applying to the collective in general. And I feel like that's one of them also pretty strongly, is like this, real feeling of rallying and, so I had this come out, Knight of Pentacles. Pentacles is our earth, earth knight. I feel like this energy is very stable. Like in the air reading, I felt like there was a charging forward, which also the Knight of Swords, which came out. This kind of charging forward, and so the feeling I'm getting with the Knights right now is this feeling of like a mission, right? Going on a mission. And whereas I felt like the Knight of Swords in the air reading was kind of feeling very rushed and reckless, without foresight, without forethought. I feel like this is very much the opposite. I feel like it's very intentional. Feel like it's very grounded. I feel like it's fairly grounded. I feel like there's also a quality of feeling quite upset, quite angry. And I think that's fine. I think that that's good and a normal reaction to what's going on right now. But what's coming through too is this guidance to really be with your anger, really recognize it for what it is. And this is kind of something that's been coming up in the readings as well for the collective, is like recognize what's yours and what's coming like from the outside, what you're absorbing as opposed to what's arising naturally in you. And really practice so that you can be clear enough to like recognize the difference. So you're not taking on more than, more than you need to. There's plenty of of stuff coming up for us to work on, and I think that being here, being in our body, being in our experience in a very clear and whole way will allow us to really tap in and learn more and more to know ourselves, and to have that work, doing that work naturally. Have a lot coming out. It's really coming through. I think that there's a group there's some group of people, and when I say that, I don't necessarily mean that like an organization or like people that know each other. I mean more of like kind of like a energetic group, people like all over that might be experiencing something kind of collectively, although they may not know it or know each other. So I feel like there's a group that kind of like feels a little bit alone in their stability, and this is something that's been coming out in every one of the readings too. I'm like that, a group that feels kind of like they wish that there were more people that were acting and coming from a more grounded place and really doing their own internal work first, so as to have a more skillful, mindful action. And it's like, I feel like for many people, they're kind of wishing that they would know and meet and connect with people that, like themselves, who recognize the need for their own healing and stuff to be done. And that is in itself, by doing that internal work, that is in itself like a very revolutionary act, and a very an act that incites a lot of change, because when you change and evolve and heal and do the healing for yourself, that's something that bleeds into everyone that you meet and everything that you do. Everyone is touched by that, and so that's really so valuable. That's really a big part of the work and the change that we're looking to make in this whole thing. And so I'm feeling like there's this group for sure that, it's funny, it's like I'm picking up on the same energies it's like I'm picking up on these groups from each sign, like from each, that's really cool. And I do feel like there's going to be more as the time goes on. There's going to be more and more meeting of I think people have been saying like soul tribe or something like that, like more and more meeting of these people that you really connect with and really feel like supported by. Like more of that connection is gonna be happening. I feel that as well. Okay. Yeah, I feel like there's a really big yearning. I feel like people that have a lot of this kind of energy and hold a lot of this energy relating to like the earth and groundedness, are really feeling this pull to be of service in the realm of like environmental realm, and finding a way to balance more evenly their consumption, and finding ways to achieve that on a more broad scale, and are really finding that work to be really finding that to be their path of service, I would say. I want to look a little bit more into that, actually. Is there any other kind of advice or can you tell me a little bit more about that? Okay. Balance is what's coming out really strong. I know that's been a really strong message for all the signs as well, for us collectively, is this real need for balance. Yeah, and I feel like one way of achieving that for many people right now, which is really great, is people learning to like do their own vegetable gardening, having just a little patch, in their backyard to grow whatever, and just like learning those skills, and in that way, it's like really coming back to the earth and like, um, yeah, and like building that connection, like re-establishing that connection. I feel like that's really, really great. And I think many people think like, oh, I don't have the time, or it's like not easy. And that may be the case depending on where you live, but yeah, more than for other people. But yeah, I actually like had the chance to stay on I was woofing, and I got the chance to stay on a farm for a summer and learned how to plant and harvest and do a whole bunch of stuff at this farm. And yeah, like found that it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, or like it was a lot less complicated than I thought that it was going to be. And it really, really inspired me, and like just to be able to eat the food that you've like grown, like that you've helped nurture, is like such a special thing. Like it's such an amazing experience, like truly. And so that's really great to see that kind of coming about. I feel like for some they might feel like, oh, that's not enough, right? But we always tend to want to take on these like big things, like like kind of what I was saying in our last thing about how we relate to like our ancestors and our ancestral trauma, and like always kind of having that idea that, oh, I need to heal my whole ancestral line, and feeling that brunt of responsibility. And while that's like a very noble cause, and certainly something that's within our realm, like I was sharing in the last video that one of my friends and teachers was sharing with me, to ask for support from ancestors that have done the healing and have done the work, also. And in that way, like we established like a really beautiful, positive relationship, and have a lot more support in doing that heavier work, right? And so I'm feeling that same kind of thing here, where it's like, just like it's okay to start small. Like it's okay to take a little bit of time, and in your own personal journey, as you go through that, you learn and develop your own skills. Because like one of the things I really love that Ram Dass says is, the only thing that we can offer others is what we have out of the work we've done for ourselves, and that's just so true. I mean, if we haven't really done the work, and if we don't really have the tools for ourselves, then what do we have to offer the world and others? And I think that's a really good lesson for and teaching in this time, and for this group that's coming through. And I really see like a lot of people thriving in this direction, going down this path like bears many fruits, is what I'm hearing. Like it's a very, very sweet path, coming back to the earth, reestablishing that connection. And it's a way of like, yeah, I'm also feeling like this really like sovereign energy. I love this card in this deck. Not only is it like, raspberry, but it's been a long time since I've had a raspberry. Maybe that's something, maybe we all need to eat some more raspberries. Maybe there's some kind of healing from that. Go out and get some raspberries. That's what I'm feeling. But yeah, feeling like very sovereign energy from this, like really like established, very incredibly earthy. Although this is like Queen of Wands, which is traditionally like fires. Wands would be like fire signs, but feeling a lot of earth coming out here, a lot of groundedness. I think the fire energy that's coming from the card is mostly, or that I'm feeling, is like more of like the sovereignty, the really what's the word? Not like forceful, but very like established, very solid, very unwavering is what I'm feeling. This unwavering sense of like sovereignty over oneself in that way. Reclaiming that sense of sovereignty over yourself, over the mind. Yeah, really putting the skills that you have into practice, and like that you've learned into practice is what I'm feeling. Like cultivating, like your garden, like really truly cultivating your energy, cultivating the mind, I guess, like really being an active player. And here I got this upside down. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck, and I guess in general. It's a 10 of Cups, and it's like ganja. I got it upside down, reversed, and I think I should read it that way, in this way. I don't always read reversals. I feel it out, sort of, but this does feel that way. I feel like there may be a little bit. I think partially it's like kind of maybe stepping away from substance. I feel like what I'm getting is a lot of people are turning to substance, and maybe feel like, are feeling like the benefit of that, like the mental bliss or the whatever, feeling like, oh, finally I can just sit back and like, and like smoke some weed and hang and relax. Like finally I have some time off of work, whatever. And I think there's a really strong invitation to be like, use this time wisely, which is also something that's been coming up for almost everyone, almost every group, particularly the last group, water signs. Yeah. And I think that there's also this feeling, this is what's coming through too, is like that's not the ultimate, right? Like that's not your ultimate happiness. It's such a controlled. What I'm getting is like, it's like a little test tube of happiness, right? And it's like, get out of the test tube is what I'm hearing. Like, like free yourself from that controlled, almost like I'm getting this really scientific kind of feeling, like vision, like imagery, like take yourself out of that for a while, go outside, like there's so much like the miracle of life and the like the kingdom of God, like the kingdom of heaven is everywhere. Like it's all around you. Like flip, like flip it, right? Like really see the way that you've been trying to mimic that experience, right, of being in union, mimicking that experience of happiness and joy, and inducing it, as opposed to recognizing that it's all around, really being it, embodying that, and again, I'm getting this strong message again of coming back to the earth, coming back to your roots. Yeah, like you're and I think for many, like there's a recognition and a growing recognition of, this isn't, this isn't working anymore, or this isn't fulfilling me the way it has in the past, or something like that, right? Okay. Let's pull some more here. I want to ask if there's any other. I'm really drawn to using my herbal deck right now. I want to ask if there's any other little bits of advice or support like that that would be useful right now. I think for this group that there's a level of action that a little bit of push to be a little bit more active, and that can be shown, that can be expressed in many ways, like not necessarily like always, or like not always like, you know, only going out to, you know, a protest or something like that, but to doing the internal work. Yeah. Yeah, it's a similar message as what was coming out earlier. Like really taking that sovereignty and the freedom that comes in that, so taking sovereignty of your own energy, of your own self, your own actions, your own speech and thoughts, and really reclaiming your whole self, reclaiming your whole self. And in that like process, like the greater recognition and revelations of, you know, of being, you know, one with each other, you know, brothers and sisters on this planet, and all the animals and our environment, you know, the physical earth. Recognizing that we are just expressions of the earth. We are, you know, we are the earth, you know, we are it, you know, and by doing the work and making the changes, we are changing the earth, because we are it, you know. And that's something that's come to me, you know, that came to me so strongly, like I want to say like about 5 years ago or something like that, like just this amazing revelation and real recognition in myself of like really being the earth, like being part of the earth. And also, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I think and then, okay, so then also through that process, you come into like, coming out of the ego, right? Kind of pulling yourself a little bit further back and stepping outside of your ego a little bit more. And like through that process, there's this great, you know, there's like these layers of revelation, like peeling back the layers until you can like see the whole onion. Like you see it for what it is. You see, you know, yourself incarnated. You see yourself without as much judgment, you know, without like with more compassion. Okay. I got a few cards in the reverse. I'm going to take them like that. Okay. Okay, so here's the overview of this here situation. I have 3 of Wands. This waiting. And this is kind of what I was just channeling, like there's this feeling and not push, but it's like a support towards a little bit more action, a little bit more active, and this real wanting, this real craving, wanting. For some, I'm feeling it's like to truly be free and experiencing that spiritual growth, really, yeah, like kind of along the lines of what I've been sharing. I feel for others, their role and their experience is kind of one that is more along the lines of like being free of like the oppressive nature of our, you know, yeah, like oppression in a very general way, and then like the like all the issues that are systemic in our societies, and human society, like, and really wanting freedom from that, really wanting true freedom, like no more lies, no more like BS, like no more trickery, like we don't want to be tricked anymore. I'm getting that really strongly, right? So I'm seeing the sun reversed. We got the sun again. This time it's reversed. I'm feeling that that's more about right now. Like no, we're not going to accept like fake smiles, right? Smiling faces. That's a good one. That's a good track. You should look that one up. Smiling faces. Forgot who it's by. Yeah, like we're not going to accept that anymore, and like seeing through that clearly as well. A little bit more clarity. Picking up on a feeling, picking up on in the UK. I'm picking up on something in the UK. I'm feeling the Queen here really strongly. I wasn't sure at first. Like, hey, what is that? I wasn't sure what it was, and I was like, oh, for some reason, I was getting the UK really strongly here. Feeling like, why? Like, we don't need that anymore. Like, this isn't like, we're not in the Middle Ages anymore. Like, why do we have this system? Like, this real questioning, like, why? Why? What's the use? Like, why is all this money going to, like, yeah, that's what I'm getting. And so it's kind of like digging, not exactly digging, but it's like, it's very reflective. I think it's very healthy, actually, what I'm feeling. It's like this really healthy reflection of, what are we doing here? It's like waking up from a dream. Like just waking up one morning and being like, why am I doing this? Like, why are we doing this? What, it's like this dystopian almost kind of feeling. You wake up in this like, dystopia, and you're just kind of like, whoa, like, how did we get here? Right? I'm so happy I'm like so happy. I'm like getting emotional because I'm like so happy to feel that, and that is what is happening. Like, to feel that as what's happening for a lot of people, that is like so beautiful to see that. I think a lot of us, and I think too with the sun reversed, it's like there's a lot of people like have a lot of doubt, like we have a lot of doubt as intuitive people, as those who are like kind of in this intuitive community, mediums and channels and healers. Like, we recognize this transition happening, right? And we're just hoping so much that it's going to be for the greater good, or like for like, we're hoping that it's really, and I think like on a deep level, like we know it is, right? But sometimes it's so hard to see that on the outside, and so there's this real element of trust, and so to feel that and to see that happening, beyond what is being beyond like what the majority of what's being broadcasted is reflecting, for me is like very hopeful, and so I'm feeling the need to, I want to look into this really quick. I have a 7 of Swords in reverse. What I'm getting is a little bit of a sunset feeling of unsurety. I think this is kind of what I'm picking up too, is like unsurety, not sure what's on the other, like when the sun comes up again, what's going to happen, as people start to go back to work. I'm actually going to be starting to go back to work in a couple weeks, in a week. Wow. And so it's like, hey, like, there's certain things that have happened that I feel like it makes it very difficult to go back to the way things were, which I think is a great thing. But still this question and this doubting. And so I'm feeling the need to flip these over and read them. Flipped over. Yeah. I feel a lot of guidance, a lot of reassurance. I feel like this group needs that. I feel like this group needs a lot of reassurance, and I'm feeling like, yeah, like have a little bit more faith and trust than you have been having. That's the message I'm feeling coming through strongly. And in a way, join the stream. In a way, come back into the stream. Like it's important to have that self-reflection and to develop, a way for you to come back into clarity. But also, you can also do that and create this balance in your life and create a balance of, also entering back into the stream that you feel called to, that feels healthy. To do that, to be a little bit more active in your own personal work and then what's going on outside. And yeah, I mean, I think the Empress also represents, this really complete balance and mastery over oneself, over the elements, very feminine, but not necessarily like, interesting. Feeling like it's less soft. It's more the feeling of that sovereignty, like the Queen of Wands I pulled earlier, like this really feeling of sovereignty, but also able to flow and be, somewhat malleable, somewhat, able to relate, able to be, to be approachable and be that bridge between the elements, between groups, between people, between organizations. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Gonna pull some oracle cards and see if there's some last other things that want to come through a little bit. Okay, I'm having some similar cards come out from last reading, actually. Gonna shuffle this a little bit better here. Let's see if I can. Anything else want to come out? Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay. So a lot of cards want to come out. Jeez Louise. Okay. And have the deck fall down. Okay. I'm feeling like a very strong like connection with animals, almost like a shapeshifter kind of vibe. Yeah. Just again, yeah, connecting with your roots. Yeah, I think you can get, whatever you get from that. I don't really feel the need to say anything. Snake shed old skin. Yeah, I'm not necessarily feeling the need to say anything there either. This is certainly, does it take charge with authority? Yeah, I'm feeling like super earthy cards. Wow. I'm feeling like this is, really just kind of reinforcing what was coming through earlier about, the sovereignty, having sovereignty, taking charge. really embodying that stable, solid, directed, knowing that you're guided. This really wanted to come out too. I really love this card. Such a beautiful card. You're not alone. Yeah, I felt, and then I had these other cards come out too. I had this come out. Again, healed ancestors, asking for healed ancestors to help and support you. I find that asking out loud is really powerful. Moving beyond ancestral patterns, asking for support with those patterns, with clearing and transforming that stuff within our own family, within our own lines. I feel like this wants to be shown next. Stand your ground. That might have to do with something with family as well. I'm feeling that connection there. And in a general way too, I think this definitely goes with the other card, you know, take charge with authority. Stable, solid. Oh, okay, that one's done. And then, yeah, you're not alone. You know, I got these two here. I'll show you one at a time. A lot of protection, a lot of guidance I feel with this group too. Yeah. Yeah. Great. So I'm gonna just close it there. Yeah, know that you're not alone, and that yeah, kind of have a little bit more trust, a little bit more faith, but also doing the work is also like, and gaining clarity through that, you know, your own practice is whatever your practice, spiritual practice or otherwise is, will help you gain that clarity and see that, you know, a little bit, yeah, more clearly. Just know that there's people around you and their support. And yeah, I'm happy to maybe be a little bit of slice of that support also. So thank you again for joining. And if you'd like to support me and the channel we're doing and just kind of spread the word around a little bit, you could like the video on YouTube and subscribe to the channel, Brother Earth Healing. And if you, feel like maybe someone might benefit, you can always like share the video around Facebook or just shoot an email or text to somebody. See if anybody might find some value here. So just very happy to have this channel start up and be coming with a lot more fun content, not just tarot and intuitive stuff, but to be announced. So thank you again, and many, many, many blessings to you. Thank you.